Добрий день. Розпочинаємо роботу в Українському кризовому медіа-центрі. Зараз Укрпошта презентуватиме звіт за рік роботи. І запрошуємо до слова Володимира Омеляна, міністра інфраструктури України, та Ігоря Смілянського, виконуючого обов'язки генерального директора Укрпошти.
Доброго всім дня. Вітаю вас на брифінгу в Українському кризовому медіа-центрі. Тема нашої сьогоднішньої зустрічі – це рік роботи Укрпошти. Але якщо ви дозволите, я би хотів розпочати цей прес-брифінг з іншої, на жаль, сумної тематики. Сьогодні рік, як з нами немає пана Шеремета. Це була жахлива звістка, яка дійсно збурила усіх нас. Це величезна втрата для медійної спільноти, для України і для українців. І я переконаний, що кожен, хто відстоює свободу слова, не може бути під ризиком втрати власного життя. Тому я би хотів попросити усіх присутніх вшанувати його пам'ять хвилиною мовчанки. Дякую.
So, Ukrainian Post, it's 1 year since the new team has been operating here. This is when we actually achieve some results, and which is gratifies my heart that those are positive results and outcomes. Ihor Smilyanskyi will follow suit, but I would like to offer to your attention some of the evaluation on the part of the ministry. We successfully started and finished corporatization. We introduced a new business model and management of the state assets. Corporatization means the limitation of the political influence of those who actually are controlling everything, and not to be the milking cow for the private or corporate interests. And I hope that this is going to be one of the prerequisites of the fuses which will ensure the reliable development of our company. Actually, we created a new transparent system of the corporate governance, which will enable us to implement the long-term plans and the implemented strategy for development of this company. This was done within the record-breaking period of time, 8 months, and we have to pay tribute to the, let's say, to the efforts of Ihor. He knows how to do that, and he did that very efficiently and with high quality. Recently, we signed the special report of the transfer of the assets. Now we can operate as a separate entity and decide for ourselves what kind of business model we're going to follow. It's my pleasure to communicate with very high-skilled and competent persons who know where to move. Next step will be the supervisory board setting up, which is going to work very efficiently. It's very important to have among the members of this council the competent and unbiased people, not to have some kind of SAPRA construction, but have something which will lead us the way. This council is going to consist of 7 members. Part of them will be so-called independent directors. They will have to go through the contents, and as a result, we are going to filter out who we do not need and come up with the best, the cream of those. We have to offer the equal rights for all players in this market, the new post of Ukraine, through the dynamic development of this market, etc. We proceed from the fact that the competition must be based on the transparent rules of the game and not on administrative, let's say, levers or the public related approaches. And the most important, what we try to achieve, increase the level and quality of the services offered to our citizens. And I would like to sincerely wish our team of the collective of the new post, Ukrposhta, to be the model for all other companies in Ukraine. The ministry is going to give you all necessary support and lend you our hand whenever you need that. Now, let's say, the speech or the show of Mr. Smilyanskyi.
I would like to thank the minister and the team of the ministry, because all this year we have been we've had this so-called supervisory board, which has been helping us in everything. I would like to start the presentation from the first slide, and that is what Mark Zuckerberg said in Harvard in May this year. He said that he recollected such a case when John Kennedy visited the NASA Space Center. He saw a person with a broom and asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Mr. President, I'm helping to launch a person to the moon." And when last year people asked me why I am here, many people ask me why I'm still here, and I would like to tell you that many of the projects, they were not just giving people the objective, but they gave the chance to have the feeling that we do something and can accomplish. And what is the story of Ukrposhta? I don't like any dry reports. Ukrposhta is like a Cinderella for me. Why is that? We prove it at the next slide. You take a company which was almost ruined and made bankrupt. It was used to clean some social mess, and you're trying to transform it into a wonderful princess. And if we are lucky, the princess will meet some prince, maybe some foreign prince, who will become the owner, co-owner, or shareholder of this princess. So during this presentation, you will see why I am giving this example and what we are doing to gradually move from the left to the right. When I arrived a year ago, I gave 10 promises, and I am happy to say that most of them have been executed. All the others are in the process, and we'll tell you which ones. Or this will be accomplished in the next months. The first one, creating real strategy of companies development.
Що ми мали за останні 7 років?
What did we have in the last 7 years? You see the net profit of, net income of Ukrposhta in hryvnia was at the same level almost all these years. The dollar exchange rate was changing, but the income of Ukrposhta was at the same level, and net profit was at the same level. Why was it so? Because the number of personnel was decreased, the number of the branches was decreased. In 2016, I'm the first general director who didn't close the branches and didn't fire people. I gave this promise a year ago, and that's what I did. What did we lose? We lost 35% of paying pensions, the market of paying pensions, and that's important income of the company. Unfortunately, when now we're talking about these parcels, Ukrposhta in parcels is a startup. It's startup with burden. Why? If Ukrposhta sent 18 million parcels last year, our competitor sent 120 million. Ukrposhta earned 300 million, and our competitor 5.5 billion hryvnias. So you see that our company was involved in many other things, but because we had many problems, and that's what we are paying attention to. Some journalists are saying Smilyanskyi, Ukrposhta has monopolized the market. Can we monopolize the market with such share in the market? It's impossible. There's a competition. What have we done? We have developed, together with the EBRD and McKinsey company, the development strategy for 5 years for Ukrposhta. It looks very ambitious, improving the revenues of the company from 4.4 billion up to 13. That was developed in November last year. This year we have more ambitious plans. Instead of 5.5 billion, which we had in the strategy, we're trying to achieve 4.4. Why? Because that's what the company needs for growth, and we'll be doing everything to achieve it. I would like to draw attention to what is what is the income of Ukrposhta. The blue one is financial services. 45% of the income account for financial services. The postal services are the yellow one, and so on. Completion of corporatization. The minister said that unfortunately in the beginning we had some expensive toys. The template of the sorting center costed about 20 million hryvnias. For example, the first quarter when we were doing privatization, we managed to write off the money which were in some of the banks. We found out the losses. What else have we done? These are our 5,000 plus pages that we signed with the minister. We developed and approved new charter and so on and so forth. On the 14th of April, we signed these documents. On the 1st of March, we registered Ukrposhta as a corporation.
Ми плануємо його вилучити цього і наступного року.
We are planning to work at market prices. I also promised to do international audit. We invited the international company, one of Big Fours, and she's preparing the report not just for 2016, but for 2017 as well. We'll have 2 years of audit for 2015 and 2016. Attracting investments. We had a pumpkin. An old infrastructure, 30% of trucks physically were damaged, 80% of the branches had no computers. Those that had computers, they were more than 20 years old. Now, when we had this problem with the virus, many of them were not affected by the virus because probably the computers are older than the hackers that were attacking them. The next slide shows our energy efficiency. Ukrposhta, you know that unfortunately Ukraine is not a very energy efficient country. Ukrposhta looks much better. But how have we achieved it? Up to 30% of branches were not heated in winter. In some branches, there was no electricity. How they worked is a miracle for me. We are now connecting them. Some of them had computers. But that was achieved because people were sitting in winter in fur coats and in summer had no air conditioning. And that is what requires additional funds, and we are grateful to the ministry that supports us. We invest this money for people to get normal conditions of labor. I have just returned from Sumy region. We went to one center where for 2 years the lift isn't working, and people are just taking the parcels to the second floor manually. In the last 5 months, we bought more trucks than in all the previous years. We bought 8,300 new computers and 17 new trucks. By the end of the year, we'll purchase more trucks. We attract investments. We invest them into real estate, transportation, and corporate structure. We're planning to launch the project with the Iberian corporate governance. Fifth promise, and that is what I did partially, to create some postal bank, open postal accounts. I would like you all to understand that's not what I just invented. That's, first of all, 87 post offices in the world have postal banks. Most of the developed countries, the Post have banks. 80% of our network is in the villages where less than 2,000 people reside. That's according to official data. And out of these 80%, there is less than 100, less than 500, less than 1,000, less than 2,000. They have never had any banking institutions, and that is up to 14 million of our citizens. And it's either Ukrposhta will provide financial services to these places, so these people will be getting money in cash, even in the 21st century. So the issue of financial services is very important today. If you look at our village offices, they are profit-losing. On indirect losses. When they're profit losing, there's no sorting, there's no fuel, there's no salary, just expenses per some specific office with specific people. We either create normal financial services and start earning on that. The post should be earning. Then if you look at the banks, 53% is the reduction of the network of banks. By the end of the year, I believe there will be 9,000 left. Even in such countries as Great Britain, the post also becomes a financial institution because the banks are being closed, and the post cannot leave from villages because otherwise people will have no access to civilization. What have we done? We have suggested draft 6601 on introducing amendments to some regulations of Ukraine as to financial services in the sphere of postal communication thing.
What we are planning to do, we are going to open the accounts. The Ukrposhta is not going to lend loans. All the money which we have in our Ukrposhta will be preserved in normal way. We already have the tender for our clearing, and we are going to continue to move along those lines. And maybe next week we are going to arrange a small press conference, and we are going to make another step towards that end. In our cooperation with international organizations, I mentioned a lot that unfortunately Ukraine, not processes are active, but the people work. And the same was my idea when we came to join the Ukrposhta. There was some kind of a known and comprehensible structure to me, and for months I tried to understand what was what. I was trying to create the personal responsibility for everybody to know who is responsible for what. Our structure is not everything. We actually had to replace 95% of the managerial system. Many of those people who are here in this audience, they are responsible for changing the Ukrposhta, and we actually replaced the managers of all the branches, the affiliated branches. I visited many regions of Ukraine. In some of the regions, the older managers remained. In others, the new one came to replace them. But we are going to provide the trainings for 13,000 employees. That doesn't mean that they are going to come tomorrow and work in full measure. No, we know that we have to do something about renovating, or let's say change the personnel and give the chance to all our employees to upgrade their skills. Now, if you're talking about our payments or the salaries, as you know, we came across a very complex issue. I didn't know about that when I came to join Ukrposhta. The payment fund increased by 4 and 5 billion. The whole income, the profit, the revenues of the Ukrposhta is 4.5 billion hryvnia. Many companies in this case would actually declare them bankrupts. But we try to improve our indicators and revenues by 30-35% this year, and not only to pay out the money, we have to invent into the vehicles and the equipment. Yes, our life doesn't become easier, it becomes more difficult, but we have to achieve what we have to achieve. We paid 855 million hryvnia we paid to the pension fund, so we are a big taxpayer in our country. So what we did, we changed the system of payment, labor payment. When I came to Ukrposhta, we had some kind of the bonuses. The system, what we call, I love him or I hate him, you know. System, those who are my favorites, I pay them the money, good money. Those who I do not like, they're not going to get money. So the bonus was paid out or not, depended. Now, the approach different. We can pay bonuses whether the objective is achieved or not. So we are going to introduce the key performance indicators, and this system is going to be transparent for everyone who's get what and for what. So we said goodbye to the equal terms. So the collective contract was the same whether in Smilyanskyi or in Kyiv. You know that was not good. As for the quick victories, we increased by 33% the amounts of the parcels, by the 36.6% the trading, 34.2 for international communication, and okay, speaking about the queues or lines, we said no to the lunch break time in more than 1,000 branches. And actually, the ministry received a lot of the complaints that I actually do not allow them to celebrate birthdays or, let's say, to other holidays during lunchtime. But we are not going to listen to those complaints. We are going to do everything possible to make comfortable conditions for our customers. Speaking about, speaking about our communication, let's say the calls to us, it takes 20 seconds, 11 minutes for our communication in the social network. In Kyiv, the Ukrposhta was delivering 70% of the parcels within 48 hours. Now, 94% of the parcels are delivered door to door within 24 hours. We are going in Kyiv. We are going to do the same all over the country of Ukraine. We need some investments. You know all our, let's say, examples regarding the kind of specific bonuses in the form of the porridge or something like that. But we decreased our, let's say, we achieved, we decreased the prices and made them one of the lowest in our countries. And the ministry visited one of our religious branches, and the people complained because they say the director makes our price the cheapest. We activated the trade based on the catalogs. You know, there is a great demand. We have to provide the people with the possibility to buy the equipment for normal prices. Prozora, you know that we apply the system. We achieved saving more than 100 million hryvnia. The share of the competitive procedures 88%. We are actually invest into the advertisement. We know that we cooperate with one of the best companies in the world in this sphere. When I speak with some of our customers and mention Alibaba company, they almost forgot about that. Okay. We took care of rebranding as well, because we have to provide some clothing for our Cinderella. As you remember in the start of my presentation, this is a new vehicle. This is electric motor-driven vehicle. We also we provide the e-expert school. We have then increased by 1/3 our products which are sold at Amazon and other platforms. New tariffs. We introduced the standard in the Ukrposhta standard, the Ukrposhta Express. We are going to increase the amount of the post tenfold. And again, this is cheaper than our competitors. We are creating new products. You can see here today, this is the something which has not been ever in the market in Ukraine. This is a special smart box which can be actually sent within 10 seconds without even weighing. You can, whatever fits into this box, you can send this box based on the same price. A new approach to the corporate customers. We introduced IT Internet for IT services, the IPI for Internet shops, so we no more papers. So you can make calculations in your office, everything which you have to calculate. We did the same with our project Chasna, timely. Then one just click is tantamount to 100 plus pages. So it saves a lot of money. What kind of hindrances I had before that? I have not worked for the public companies. To work according to law is impossible, but not to work is possible. The most valuable resource, and we actually calculated 730 hours for each year.
І 260 годин витрачено на взаємодію з контролюючим органом. Я дуже хотів би ці години за мій другий рік витратити на щось більш корисне, нові продукти, нові послуги, але ж маємо те, що маємо. Бюрократія. Я от з цим конвертом борюся з першого дня.
Bureaucracy, I fight with this envelope from the very first day of my being here.
Існує 35 тарифів.
Володя, я перезвоню.
Які на цих марках. Тому я дуже розраховую, що
to print all those copies on all the postal stamps, and I understand that we are going to do something about that, and we won't be able to do some application on the envelopes. We cooperate with the state fiscal service in order to put Ukrposhta under equal conditions with all other companies without any benefits whatever. We can do that only with the dedicated postal operators. All other companies can do that. So we bring the Chinese parcels through Estonia. This is the most the closest part. And I would like to work under the equal conditions. The bright future, what we need, and a new culture of the company, the most important thing. Always saying everyone here is populism, craze. I visited all the sorting facilities in our country, in Ukrposhta. When I communicate with the people during the night, I say, okay, I'm going to increase the salary. How are we going to divide this money? Equally to everybody, or those who work more are going to get more. 75% say equally. But in this 75%, can you imagine that? And we won't be able, in this case, to change our country. But we are going to do something about that. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it brings about a lot of complaints, but we are going to continue something to do along those lines. New culture, less dependence on the state. I believe that such a company as Ukrposhta must work under new conditions and be independent, and so that we can make money on the parcels, on the financial services, and all our services we provide must be given at the normal market conditions. And get rid of populism is one of my dreams. Our plans for next year: increase of the amounts of the parcels. New format branches, preservation of 100% of the population coverage zone. Let's say we are going to launch a project with the mobile affiliated branches, and investing the money into infrastructure, post payment for the delivery, the courier delivery, and the site, the mobile application. The increase of the share of the agents of changes among the employees of the company, and the formation of image of the transparent state company. And also I would like to come back to the speech of Mark Zuckerberg, what he said. The objective is the sense that we are part of something bigger, and that we are required, and there is something we have to work for. My objective is something which creates real happiness. So my objective is to create everything, all the conditions for this company to exist for many years to go. That's actually just my speech. The questions I would like to take those. So please ask the questions dedicated to the topic of our briefing. Ukrainian National News, could you give us more details about the change after we switch over to the corporate management? Give us some examples. What has changed? We are just in the process of changing the process of decision making. Today, when we have to coordinate the financial plans, we are talking about the ministries, not only one ministry, sometimes three ministries. We really believe that after we set up the supervisory board, everything will be, those decisions will be taken by this board. And we are going to do that on more normal terms and conditions. All the rest will depend on what documents we are going to approve. Now we can actually lend out our real estate at normal prices, because 70% of our revenues were going to the state property fund, and we could not actually dispose or, let's say, control our assets or real estate. Real estate today, all the rest we are going to do by the end of this year, I believe. Thank you. Next question, please. Юлия Борисовна-Каминская, Ирпенский вестник. Unfortunately, I would like to say some other words, but I would like to draw attention to a big problem which actually undermines our business, not only of our Irpinsky Bulletin newspaper, but many other universities in Ukraine, as a result of the activity of Ukrposhta. I have to hand over to you as the manager the hundreds of complaints of the subscribers of our newspaper who do not actually, not only not timely receive the newspaper, sometimes they do not receive the addresses. When they switch over, then they close the branch in the Irpin, we have to do everything with the key. The people do not receive the newspapers. The first circulation we used to receive it on Fridays. Sometimes we do not, 5 days later after that, the expiration of that first period of time, we receive the newspapers. Not only it's very inconvenient for our subscribers to read newspaper 5 days later, our subscriber says we are going to cancel our contract or subscription because it's no good. So if you do not change the situation as soon as possible, we will be forced to close, and not only our newspaper. This will be detrimental to your reputation as well. We kindly ask you to do something about that. We do not know who to address. We specify the specific addresses where the newspaper is not delivered, but there is no response or no reaction to that. You know, by all means, we are going to take care of this. There was a time when the virus actually damaged our sorting system. Microphone, please. You know, up till now, our European Post does not take money for subscription. The people who were refused the first time, they will never come again. Okay, I understand. Starting from Monday, they have to receive all the newspapers. We renovated our system as a whole. But speaking about this specific case, we are going to take care of that, and I'm going to investigate into that matter. Sergey will take care of that. Yeah, Sergey is just behind you. I do not mean that there are no problems like what you said. They are. As for the circulation of newspapers, actually we fulfilled 94% of the plan for subscription, so managed to preserve the newspapers. Not many countries in the world can actually boast this 94% of the circulation of the periodicals.
This service is to be also provided on market conditions. Ukrposhta has financed periodical publications worth 500 million hryvnias. 500 million hryvnias. That's the money which were not used for trucks, were not used for delivery. That's why in some cases we do have a shortage of trucks, of sorting centers, and of postmen. We'll be improving our quality, and we'll be doing everything to provide it on market terms. Hi. Экономическая правда publication. Ukrposhta had a tender for processing, and it was 202 million hryvnias. And you received the status of acquirer from MasterCard, and you're planning to procure about 500,000 post-terminal. Wouldn't it be better to give this function to some bank for... That's not our processing, it's outsourcing. 224 million, that's for 5 years, and that is depending on the number of transactions. We don't pay anything if there are no transactions. If there are 10 transactions, we pay for them. We receive the lowest price in the country. Again, no one offered lower price. Why? We did it this way. We had the tender. We invited companies who are not affiliated to banks. So when you go to Ukrposhta, when you come to Ukrposhta with any card of any bank, you will get similar terms, because if this is the post terminal of one bank, a person with another card will get different price. We want all the companies to have similar access. If it will be better to receive cards of someone else, then okay, this is not our processing. We just pay for the number of transactions. That's absolutely market and transparent terms. UPC participated in that TAS company and Ukrcard company, and they offered the lowest bid. Their bid was the lowest. There's no betrayal here. Anton Smilyanskyi, first question, can you mention the financial results of Ukrposhta for the second quarter? And because you've received all the assets, do you believe that some of the assets will be sold, or are you considering only lease? Because of the virus, we delayed with our reporting, unfortunately. Till the 7th of August, we'll submit. On the 7th of August, there will be results for the second quarter. As to the second quarter, on sale or lease, we can do lease today, and we'll put it to Prozora sale, so that everyone sees what we lease out at what rate. As to sale, for sale, we need the resolutions of the government, because Ukrposhta is one of the strategic companies which are not to be privatized, and so sale of any assets, for that we need the decision of the government or the supervisory board of Ukrposhta. I would like to sell what we don't need and to invest this money into infrastructure. We expect that this will happen, but I cannot promise that this will happen this year. And what about this virus? Cyber attack. What are the consequences for Ukrposhta? As to clients, all the services have been renewed. The clients do not feel it. The reporting and everything that is to be completed, we are completing it. As to losses, I believe we will need several months to see. Some of our customers were also affected. They did not bring us parcels because they could not do it because they were under attack. It's like a delayed thing, and we'll see. As of today, now with express parcels, we are doing more than before the virus. We restored our volumes, but what are the losses, we'll see in 2-3 months. Will this cyber attack harm you to get the profit or the income that you planned, it will be more difficult. We will have to invest money into cybersecurity more than we planned, and we invest money into restoring the systems, but you cannot get protected 100% from cyber attacks. In some cities, there were blackouts. Okay, the computers are operating, but there's no light. What do we do if there's no mobile communication? So if there's no mobile communication, what do? We need to think about that. Yes, that requires some investments. We'll review our plans. Any other questions? No. National Association of Ukrainian Media. We are uniting the printed media, and it's on subscription. 99% of circulation. That's a tradition with some publications. They go for subscription. I haven't seen any subscriptions in your plans. Is that business for you? Are you planning to do it? Because on how you do your business, our business depends, and what could be our plans. This is a very difficult question, and together with the minister, we had a meeting. I would like it to be business. I would like it. Talking about Ukrposhta, business for Ukrposhta and publishers. We'll be going in this direction. We understand our responsibility for that. As to tariffs, they are. So that's why you see to keep 100% coverage, to maintain 100% coverage. We see that many of our subscribers live in the villages, and so in our plans is to keep it. It's important for people. Whether this business, the tariffs, which I proved, we have zero profitability in this business. We operate with zero profitability. Now it's social responsibility, and we'll be doing it. We'll be investing. We invest into new system. We understand that we need to start on time, and so on. My personal impression is that in the country here, some publications are in demand, and we do not cope with delivering. Then only it could be business. Thank you.
Оля Быстрицкая.
And have you talked about the plans for the future? Maybe you have some more specific objectives, like 10 goals. Well, these goals have been digitized in parcels the way 18 million, we need to achieve 40 million. For that, well, we need to invest money into infrastructure. And the same with the newspapers. We need to invest 3-4 million within a few months so that we can do it. Talking about the plans, there are very specific figures. We need to get ready for the next increase of minimum salary. Mobile application, we need to have it. These 10 objectives, I will be trying to tell you in a year that they have been achieved, but the company can survive only if it sells. It's like chicken and egg. No trucks, no delivery, no sale, no money, no trucks. So we need to break this vicious circle. When I came, the average age of the truck is 14 years, and every day cars and trucks get broken. So now we'll be investing so that we become competitive. even in Donetsk and Lugansk, where it's difficult regions, we will reduce the term of delivery by 1 day, of delivery of everything. We send new trucks there, and we go region by region. So we do have very specific figures. What about Amazon? I will tell it when we sign the contract. Amazon is a huge one. There's American, there's European. We have an audit of one big European company, and she should confirm that we can work with such huge companies. When we sign, I will announce it. And now express delivery is 4 days. What term do you believe is optimum? It's not 4 days. Regional centers up to 4 days. It's to villages, to the smallest village. But regional centers next day, and district centers up to 2 days, and villages, you've seen where there are 100 residents, up to 4 days. Express delivery in main directions is next day, and we're shortening that. I believe express is next day. Back to prepayment for regional subscription publications.
Каталогу ще свідоцтво видавця, яких у редакції немає.
Now, it's about some documents which are needed for prepayment to be included into some catalog. We talked about that with Teleradyo, State Committee on TV and Radio. We will include all those who want to the catalog. The mechanism that works is the letter of guarantee. This is not our requirement.
Наскільки мені відомо, буквально годину назад говорили, що вже є офіційний прес-реліз Держкомтелерадіо. Наскільки мені відомо, ми це питання обговорювали з Національною спілкою журналістів, з паном Томіленко. Тому це питання не лежить там в площині вирішення саме Укрпоштою. Тому я думаю, що буквально найближчими днями буде якась офіційна відповідь, і ми зможемо з вами... Що?
Просто Держкомтелерадіо офіційно розповсюдило листа ще вчора чи позавчора, що вони не вимагатимуть, що вони не ставлять цієї вимоги включення до цього переліку. Але насправді такої вимоги раніше ніколи не було, і вона абсолютно ні на чому не ґрунтується. Тобто Держкомтелерадіо розробило своє якесь внутрішнє положення, наказ про те, що веде додатковий реєстр видавців і розповсюджувачів. Але газети, вони відповідно і не видавці, і не розповсюджувачі дуже часто, вони отримують свідоцтво про державну реєстрацію друкованого ЗМІ. І це є достатньою підставою, відповідно до закону про пресу, розповсюджувати своє видання, продавати його по передплаті, оптом, в роздріб, як завгодно. І тому тільки на ці кампанії постала ця вимога. І друге, все ж таки, тоді вже, якщо вже є мікрофон, друге питання все ж таки по розрахункам. У нас була ситуація дуже тяжка у редакції з поверненням їм коштів, оскільки Укрпошта отримує всі кошти передплатника і потім частину має повернути редакції. В договорі вказано в усіх, вказано, що це має відбутися протягом 2 тижнів після завершення передплатної кампанії. Це було на початку року, не було цих розрахунків, розраховувалися до кінця квітня. Зараз друге півріччя підписали, так само немає цих розрахунків, тепер вірус Петя. Значить, але все ж таки давайте тут якимось чином оптимізовувати, можливо, ваші витрати для того, щоб це для вас було бізнесом і для того, щоб це все ж таки для нас було бізнесом. Бо ми до цього готові. Це ж не тільки тарифи визначають прибутковість, ще оптимізація витрат. Давайте посидимо, подумаємо, зробимо цей механізм. Наші редакції до цього готові, ми абсолютно не хочемо жити за рахунок Укрпошти.
Дивіться, я ж цілком за це. Я сказав, є така цікава річ – калькулятор. Да, а до 1 липня тарифи на розповсюдження були 22 копійки, якщо не помиляюсь. Да, от давайте візьмемо 3200, поділимо з вами на 22 копійки, на 20 робочих днів на 8 годин. І ми получимо, що листоноша потрібно розповсюджувати 110 екземплярів газет на годину, щоб тільки за це покрити свою заробітну плату. Ви десь бачили таких моторних листонож в селі, які можуть за годину розповсюджувати 110 екземплярів газет. А це без палива, я підчеркую, це без палива, без сортування, без зарплат інших людей, які роблять каталоги і все інше. Тому, чи це буде бізнес? Я дуже розраховую, що буде, але не наступного року. І тим менше, ще раз говорю, ми вкладаємо гроші цього року для того, щоб якість покращити. Що стосується розрахунків, ми також будемо розраховуватись, але ж давайте не забувати, я це говорю з першого дня, що тут є питання ризиків. Що якщо ми повертаємо всі гроші, да, юридично ми не несемо відповідальності перед читачами, юридично. Але ж ми всі розуміємо, до кого вони прийдуть. Да, вони прийдуть бити листоношу, якщо завтра газета закрилась, а вони передплатили за рік. Тому я виступаю за те, щоб опрацювати певний механізм, коли ми будемо сплачувати по частям. Ці гроші лежать в державних банках, вони нікуди не зникають. І це буде якось регульовувати ризики того, що ви знаєте самі, що деякі видавці не дуже добре себе почувають фінансово. Тому якщо вони завтра закриються, і ще раз, юридично не буде до нас вимог, а реально прийдуть до листоношу, будуть намагати демо-екземпляр газети. Тому ми зараз співпрацюємо з паном Томілянки, з видавцями, для того, щоб дійсно розробити новий проєкт договору, так, щоб ми своєчасно сплачували, ми готові туди навіть надати штрафні санкції, щоб Укрпошта сплачувала, і щоб це був такий, знаєте, рух з двох сторін.
Так. Колеги, чи є ще запитання?
Тут.
Так, крайні давайте запитання вже на сьогодні.
Андрій Мегель, консалтинг, провадження фірми «Конкор». Зараз є проблема в
Now there's a problem with small exporters to send some products abroad. Are you planning to deliver something abroad, bigger things than parcels? We're looking at that. It's an issue of aviation infrastructure. Even with parcels, we still have a shortage of airplanes. When we're talking about sending pallets, that's a more complicated issue. We're working on that. We have even created the working group with the state financial service so that we can do it for bigger volumes. It's the issue of readiness of infrastructure. And also this doesn't fall under the World Postal Union. All these rules are for parcels. When we're talking about something else, it's different conditions. That's normal business, but you have to cooperate with some company, but we cannot cooperate with private entities. If we change that, then we'll be helping our exporters. Thank you, our speakers. Thank you all who were with us. And very briefly, I would like to thank Igor and his team sincerely. They are, he is on the proper place. I just liked the idea with the Cinderella, when you compare Ukrposhta with Cinderella. Now we have a wonderful dress for Cinderella, but Cinderella has to lose weight before it can put it on. And I believe that this team can do something. We will have a very good, powerful state company, and it will be an example of how the state entity could be reformed. Thank you. Thank you.